Hello. So let's get to the exciting news, and that is this little peanut right here, due November 25th. This is something we've got going on over here, okay? Preparing for baby number 2. However, on our journey to baby number 2, it has not been smooth sailing, and I have talked a little bit about it in my podcast with my friend Kai, number 26, and that is that I experienced a miscarriage in January. So if that is something that you are not ready to hear about in this moment, maybe this video isn't for you, and I'll see you in the next one. We'll do some lighthearted mom stuff, okay? So January, I experienced a blighted ovum miscarriage. So in January, I went to a prenatal appointment for what I thought would be a 10-week checkup, the first one that I had gone to with Owen and with this pregnancy as well. I wait until between the 9-10 week mark to go to my first appointment because it's just, you have more likelihood to hear a heartbeat if they do a fetal Doppler. But at my 10-week appointment, this first appointment, I got an ultrasound, and that is really odd. I'm not quite sure why they chose to do an ultrasound for me on that day. I'm really glad that they did. They checked, and with blighted ovum, which is what I looked up, so excuse me if I get this wrong, but essentially your uterus thinks that there's a baby. Maybe there was an egg and implantation early on, but it just didn't take, or it didn't work. There was never a fetus, there was never an embryo that actually developed, but my uterus thought that there was still a baby. It told my body that there was a baby, and my body just thought that I was pregnant, which is annoying. I think because of that, I didn't feel like I lost something, but I did still feel that disappointment because I still lost an idea. Like, I thought that I was going to be due at the beginning of August. So I thought that I would be due on August 11th, which obviously I'm not now with this second try. The woman that was doing the sonogram for me was really great about it. She looked all around, apologized a lot. It's nobody's fault. Miscarriages happen. This happens a lot. This type of miscarriage happens a lot, and it's just never known about because your body figures it out typically a lot sooner than mine did. Mine didn't figure it out until after 10 weeks, or would have figured it out after 10 weeks. Obviously, if I'm wrong, please let me know, inform me, inform everybody else. But this is my understanding of an article that I read in January when I learned that this was happening to me. At that appointment that I thought I was 10 weeks pregnant, found out that there's actually nothing in my uterus, nothing started to grow, nothing at all. My body just thought that it would get ready for a baby, and they booked me in the next day to get a DNC procedure done. So I chose to do a DNC day surgery procedure, and I chose to do that because I didn't want to wait for my body to figure it out on its own or to pass it naturally. I wanted it to be over, honestly. I just wanted it to be done so I could have my next regular period and then try again because it's just within that window of time that I wanted to try having a baby. So I just wanted to do the next thing. I just wanted it to be done, and also I didn't want to go through that actual at-home miscarrying while caring for Owen. I would rather know on the day, like, I'm gonna feel really crappy for this day, and be able to book in my mom to come and stay with Owen, and be able to have Dave drive me in and drive me back and stuff like that. So for me, that's why I did it. I chose a DNC, and here's a little bit of footage from that day. It's the morning of my DNC. I'm not allowed to eat anything. I'm allowed to sip water, and then I have to stop sipping water at 9:15, and then I have to be at the hospital at 11:15. It's currently 6:45. So usually, to get myself through the morning time with Owen, we'll have breakfast, and we usually sit and watch Mickey while I drink my coffee, which is obviously not it today. So I don't think that it's quite hit me yet that I'm having a surgery and anesthesia, and that makes me really nervous. But I think that I would be more nervous not knowing if everything came out. And I'm glad that I don't have to go through it at home while trying to also take care of Owen. It's a good decision. I'm also just annoyed about, I don't know how much it's gonna cost, and this shouldn't have to be like a forethought of how much is this procedure going to cost. Is my insurance going to cover it? It's just another issue of American healthcare being a business instead of a service. Because during all of this, that's not something that I should be focusing on, but it is. So right now I am 23 weeks pregnant, and I was not prepared for my mental state around my 10-week mark with my current pregnancy, after having found out at last appointment that I had had a 10-week ultrasound that there was nobody in there. So I was very relieved when my doctor helped book me a sonogram for the next day after my first visit with this current pregnancy, because I had gone in and they couldn't detect anything on the fetal Doppler, which is okay. Like, I understand that it's not always gonna work correctly, or that the baby at that time might be smaller because you might have conceived later in your cycle. There might not be a detectable heartbeat yet, so my doctor helped out by booking a sonogram for the next day. We checked it out. There's a little bitty peanut in there, so we've been able to go on normally with this pregnancy. It's very similar to my first one. I felt a lot more nauseous though this time around, and I'm getting a lot of nosebleeds, which I've never had before in my life, but I've been experiencing a lot of nosebleeds with this pregnancy. While going to that 10-week appointment, after having bad news at the 10-week appointment previous to that, I was still going in feeling better. The day before my 10-week appointment in January, I told Dave that it didn't feel right. I don't feel right, and I remember just laying in bed and I said, what if there's no one in there? And there wasn't. And then this last time around when I'd gone to my 10-week appointment, I was feeling a lot more confident that we had made a baby. And I think that it just solidifies even more that I just need to lean into my intuition about things, because there was really not a lot of difference between the two experiences, other than just wasn't feeling right before that appointment where we found out that my uterus tricked me. But we are very excited for baby number 2. As you can see behind me, I'm working on going through some of Owen's old onesies and clothes and bits and bobs, and just really holding on to the pieces that I love, and we'll be looking to add bits and pieces as we go, of course. And I know that my family will be buying us pieces for the new baby come November. So again, if you would like to listen to my experience of loss and disappointment a little bit closer to when it actually happened, because now that it's been months later and I have been lucky enough to conceive for real this time and fairly quickly, you can go and listen to episode 26 of my podcast with my friend Kai called Case of the Mom Days, where we talked about the entire experience more in detail, more in the moment. I think that we recorded that podcast days after it happened. So if you're interested in hearing that, if you feel like that's something that you can listen to, if you feel like that's something you need to listen to feel more connected to another person and understand that while they are totally disheartening and devastating, they happen and you're not alone please go check that out. But either way, I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did make it this far, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in more mom content, stay-at-home vlogs, then please consider subscribing. And I will see you next time.